Last thing is other utilities, landscaping, management.
Yeah. So if you're going to have a property manager, 10% is kind of the industry standard. I think I'm comfortable saying put 10% in for management.
Well, 1 month's rent and then 10%.
Yes. That's
so
fair.
Make sure you calculate into your numbers. Like if you're using Excel, you'll do 1 month's rent plus 10% of whatever that is.
That's right.
So landscaping, are you going to make the tenant do the landscaping? Or is this a co-living house or a multifamily where you have to take care of the landscaping? Yeah. Call some landscape companies. Get an idea of how much do they charge to cut an acre? How much do they charge to cut a quarter acre?
Trimming the bushes.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Get an idea on what it would cost to do that. And then utilities.
Yeah. I mean, if you're living in the market, you know generally how much it costs for your power bill and your water bill and all that. So if you're paying for any of the utilities, put that in your numbers too.
Yeah. At the end of the day, most of all of these items that will go to help you build a number to see if it cash flows or not are available at your fingertips.
Right.
It's available at the punch of a call, or it's available on Google.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to put in that work. And the more you do it, the more it becomes a fun game versus a chore and a task towards financial freedom.
There's a lot of work on the front end to find what's the closing cost, what's the financing terms. But once you have that, you don't even change those inputs in the spreadsheet or the calculator you're working on. It just flows, and then you're just estimating, a handful of things, and it's just easy.
Yeah. My recommendation would be to build a spreadsheet with all of these items on the left-hand column. What do you call it? A column?
Yeah.
All on the left-hand column, and then along the rows going across, put in all the houses that you're comparing, that you're building numbers on, and then see how it changes over time, and that way you have an idea of, okay, this one, I'm going to make this kind of purchase price. And maybe you didn't offer on that home, but you're going to keep watching it on Zillow, right?
Right.
And then you see that it sold, and you see that they renovated it beautifully. And then you'll see what they listed it for, and you'll see what it sold for.
Right.
And then you'll be able to gauge like, wow, I would not have thought to renovate it like that. Oh, I didn't think it would be worth that.
Right.
It'll train you over time by keeping track of every property you run numbers on.
Yeah. If you heart a house on Zillow or Redfin or whatever tool you're using, it'll send you an email or notification on your phone when it has gone under contract, when it is sold, when it's rented. And then you can update your spreadsheet.
Yep.
And that'll really help you fine tune without even doing a deal.
That's right. And also, if you're doing off-market deals and you're like, Eric, I don't buy on the MLS. I do off-market deals only. Doing the same process and going on Zillow or Redfin and then typing that address, it's going to say property not listed, but still heart it. Heart that property, because eventually it's going to be listed for rent or it's going to be listed for sale. Right. And you still want to be able to track, like, how was I at running those numbers?
Yeah. And if you don't want to do this, hire a VA. You can get one for relatively cheap, build out the process of how you do it, and send it to them and let them run these numbers for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But it has to be done. I mean, this is the only way to make sure you're making the right moves and buying the right deals.
It's the work you must do before investing in real estate.
Yeah.
As a landlord or acting investor. If you're a lending investor, if you're just on the lending side, you need to know how to do this.
Right. But
this is going to be...
ARV is probably the more important on that side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, what's a deal for you might not be a deal for me. It's all in your buy box and what you're looking for.
Right.
And you want to make sure you can analyze what's the criteria for you.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a certain cash on cash return? Which the cash on cash return, that's the annual cash flow divided by the cash invested.
Annual cash flow divided by
so you take
the cash invested.
Everything that we talked about on those inputs, and you take the rent minus all the expenses, and that's your monthly cash flow. Multiply that times 12, gets you your annual cash flow. So let's say you put $30,000 into a deal and it makes $100 a month.
Okay.
You take $1,200 divided by $30,000, and whatever that percentage is, that's your cash on cash return. You gonna do it right now?
I'm gonna do it right now. So you're gonna walk me through this again. You said we're gonna have
$100 a month.
$100 a month
times 12 months.
Times 12 months. We're at $1,200.
$30,000 in it, divided by 30,000.
So we're gonna divide 1,200 by 30,000.
Yep.
Divided by 30,000.
4%.
So we're at 4%.
Yep. So you might be okay with a 4% return. We aren't.
Yeah.
We want higher than that. So let's say it makes $500 a month.
So we take the
500
times 12
divided by our 30,000.
Divided by the 30,000. And that gets us a 20% return.
Yeah. I'm good with that deal.
I'm great with a 20% return.
And it makes $500 a month. So it's worth the work.
That's with us putting in $30,000, right?
So let's say you have that $100 a month.
Okay.
We got to get the calculator back
out.
There it is. All right, $100 a month.
$100 a month times 12.
But let's say you only put, I don't know, $5,000 in the deal.
And let's say you only put in $5,000 in closing cost because you got it 100% financed.
Yep.
So divided by $5,000,
mm-hmm.
That's a 24% return.
Right. So it's the cash flow. You might not be willing to do that deal for $100 a month though, because it's not enough to your monthly goal.
But it was only $5,000 out of your pocket.
But what's your time worth?
There you go. There's so many factors.
When we were starting out, we would do that deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's great. Make 24% on our money. I'd rather get the 20% return on my money for the
$500 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what works for us, what works for you. What numbers, what are you looking for in monthly cash flow? And make sure that it does cash flow under the worst circumstances. And then what's the cash on cash return you're looking to get out of it?
That's right.
And